Hi, welcome to Buffzone, sponsored by Liquor Mart. My name is Kyle Ringo. This is Ryan Thorburn. We cover the University of Colorado Athletic Department for the Daily Camera newspaper. Here to talk a little bit about the men's basketball team. And Ryan, let's start this week with a question. Is Tad Boyle the Pac-12 Coach of the Year?
Tad Boyle is definitely the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. As everyone knows by now, the Buffs were picked to finish tied with Washington State for 10th place in the Pac-12. They are currently in second place behind the co-leaders, Cal and Washington, with 4 games left. The only other Big Six conference preseason prediction that got anyone worse was the Big East actually picked South Florida to finish 14th. They're currently tied for 4th. So the Buffs are overachieving, and or the media underachieved in its research of this team. But even Tad Boyle says he is pleasantly surprised with this season and didn't know what to expect. So I think he is the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Mike Montgomery and Lorenzo Romar have experienced / very talented teams, and one of them will probably win it. But Tad Boyle's come from nowhere here.
I don't think that either one of them should win it. Not that they're not deserving, I'm not saying that, but when you have a guy whose team was picked so far down, finished so high in the standings, and obviously the season isn't over yet, there's a lot of basketball to be played, but it looks like the Buffs are going to be, one of the top 4 or 5 teams. I think that resume speaks for itself, and you can make the argument that Cal and Washington are doing what everyone expected them to. Colorado is clearly not doing what everyone expected them to. You and I started the season, and we talked about how we each picked the Buffs to finish 7th in the league. So the Buffs at this point are even surprising us. And we're around the team all the time. You're around the team every single day, and they're surprising you. So based on those facts alone, I have to say Tad Boyle, hands down, should be the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. I don't even think it's a contest at this point. And frankly, I would have to be convinced by other people why they were voting for other coaches.
Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk. What isn't a slam dunk, which I think is going to be interesting, is how many votes does Andre Robertson get for Player of the Year? He's leading the Pac-12 in rebounding by over 3 rebounds per game. He's leading the Pac-12 in blocked shots, and he's the only player averaging a double-double in Pac-12 play. So Andre is a huge reason for this, and obviously his offensive game could still grow quite a bit, actually. So that's got to be pretty exciting for Buffs fans and our fans here at this live broadcast. So, I think that's interesting. I think definitely first team all Pac-12, but that's 2 reasons why they've been able to overcome the loss of Corey and Alec and the other seniors. And, it's great coaching and one good player in Tad Boyle.
Apparently my infant son here, who's watching us tape the show on Fat Tuesday here, he apparently agrees with everything you have to say. When it comes to Andre, I will say that he has to be a first-team player, a first-team member of the all-conference team if he's not the Player of the Year. There are some other deserving candidates, but Andre is definitely having a great season. What do you think in terms of Andre setting himself up for an NBA career at this point?
I still think Andre will be back for his junior year because of the offensive development that needs to take place, and the fact that I think he's probably excited about the way things have gone. His first 2 years, you're getting a top 25 class in here. He's talked to Alec. He knows it's not easy being a rookie, and you need to be prepared going in. So I think Andre will be here next year at least, maybe even all 4 years, who knows. But I wouldn't worry too much about that at this point. What we do need to worry on before we go real quick, Buffs with what Tad Boyle has described as the most important weekend of the season, hosting Stanford and Cal. Who you got?
I think they're going to go 1-1 in this week's games. I think they'll beat Stanford at home on Thursday, and I think they'll drop one. The first loss of the season in conference play at home to Cal on Sunday. But I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to beat Cal too. The Buffs have been tough at home, as we've seen over the past couple of years. So I'll go 1-1. Tad Boyle is apparently Apparently Banks disagrees.
He does not like this.
He's disappointed in me for picking 1-1. But I think Tad Boyle is spot on. This is a hugely important week. If the Buffs don't do well this week, then it makes next week the trips to Oregon State kind of irrelevant. So they do have to perform well this week.
I agree with Banks. The Buffs will sweep this series this week. They will enter the final weekend virtually in first place, and then, you know, we'll see what happens. I think they'll probably lose at Oregon for sure, and that Oregon State game will be huge. I think they need to win 3 of 4 and get to the championship game to go to the NCAA tournament, but we can talk about that next week. So for Banks and Kyle, Ringo, Ryan Thorburn saying see you next week.
Heckled by a 6-month-old.